The Last of the 20. By Joseph N. Wdowski. Parley. Miller slept a bit longer than usual. In spite his exhaustion from fending off the hundreds of mutants and the mole men earlier, he was not able to sleep deeply for most of the night. When he was finally able to fall asleep, he was haunted with nightmares. At first, they were pleasant memories of Kim, his assigned second in command. Miller dreamed of their growing up together, studying together, and training together, as their friendship and comradeship grew over the years in the shelter. Suddenly, in the dream, Kim angrily turned to Miller. "Why did you fail us? You were our commander. Why?" Kim's face began to mutate before Miller. The other members of their group, that had also mutated, appeared behind Kim, all echoing Kim, "Why?" Miller woke abruptly in a sweat. The odor of the decaying mutant bodies assaulted his senses, waking him with the effect of smelling salts. He stood putting on his helmet and quickly reattaching his gas mask to cut out the stench. He looked at 124. "You are lucky they didn't give you smell sensors." Bad dreams again. 124 seemed actually concerned over Miller's well-being. Not pleasant. Miller approached the robot and began removing the full-charged energy packs, replacing the energy pack in his Peppa and refilling his ammo belt. He plugged the nearly spent pack from his weapon into 124. With a full pack, he went to install it into the mule. "I already gave him a fresh pack." 124 stopped him. "Just add it to the other full packs it is carrying." Miller was surprised. "That was nice of you." He reached down, hitting the power button on the head of the mule and placing the extra charged energy pack on the robot's back as it powered up. "Are you starting to warm up to it?" "It is still a stupid machine." 124 became defensive, not wanting Miller to think his action was in any way an act of kindness towards the inferior robot. "Okay." Miller turned to the mule, "Follow." Miller then turned his attention to the mound of headless mutant bodies piled up in the main aisle between the pews. He began using his fully charged Peppa to vaporize the remaining bodies. Miller cleared his way towards the opening doorway of the church. The robots followed behind him as he made his progress. "Ah, we have mole men heading our way again," reported 124. Miller took a deep, sighing breath. "Geez, how many, and how far out?" 212, ETA 30 minutes. 124 reported. "That is interesting." Miller stepped outside of the church. The trees he destroyed the day before were still smoldering with whispers of black smoke. He looked north up the road, but they were too far for his sensors to pick up. What is so interesting? They are moving with females and children. It is not all males like yesterday. Mole women and mole kids? Miller questioned. "It seems so." Moments later, 124 repeated, "Interesting." Miller looked at 124. "I have noticed when you say interesting, it's usually not good news." "So, what is it?" "Their numbers have grown to 1,000. Miller began looking for a new defensive position in the area. "Ah, no, not that interesting. 2 of them have broken off from the main group and are running towards us. The main group has stopped. If these 2 can keep up their pace, ETA 15 minutes. Oh, and one is a mole woman." Miller found a low stone wall outside the church and sat down upon it. He laid his rifle over his lap. He called the mule to come closer to him so he could grab a ration bar. "You're going to just sit there and eat." 124 was puzzled by Miller's action. "Shouldn't we keep moving, creating enough space between us and them? Mutants may ignore me. I am not so sure mole men will." ETA 5 minutes. 124 updated Miller 20 minutes later. "I am picking them up too." Miller responded. "The main group. They haven't budged." "Okay." Miller undid his gas mask and took off his helmet. "Let me know if the main group starts to move again." Miller took the time to look up at the blue sky above him while listening to a light breeze rustling through the trees around them. He enjoyed the warmth of the morning April sun on his face. Ironically, he recited, "April showers bring May flowers." What? 124 questioned Miller's last sentence. It isn't raining. It is supposed to rain in April, to bring May flowers. He kept looking up at the sky that seemed completely oblivious to the downfall of humanity. It was clean, tranquil, with only a couple of small white clouds. Looking up into the heavens, Miller, for a moment, felt he had escaped the real world of ruins, decay, and death. ETA. 2 minutes. They're walking the rest of the way in. Miller turned his attention away from the sky above and to the here and now. Looking up Derby Avenue, he spotted 2 figures approaching. As they got closer, he could make out the 5-foot-tall male, covered in coarse body hair, and wearing only a studded, black leather biker's jacket. He was unarmed, but Miller was confident that he was carrying. Miller then turned his attention to the female. He was shocked to find her a bit taller than the male. Her hair was blonde, yet she was a dark tan with large brown eyes framed with thick dark lashes. Miller felt her eyes and skin tone did not match her long blonde hair. Thinking to himself, he questioned, "She dyes her hair?" As she got closer, he could make out on her exposed skin that was not covered by her leather jacket or by her blue jeans that hung low on her very female hips, that she was completely covered in a very fine soft blonde body hair. Unlike the male's, her face was without hair. Her lips were full and rose-colored. She had a slightly turned-up pug nose. He found her surprisingly attractive, although not as attractive as Anna or Nora. That is far enough. Miller remained sitting on the wall. "Use the one?" The male asked. "The one?" 124 asked. "Yeah, the one that took out Rugo and Jake." The mole man clarified. "If you meant the leaders that tried to attack me yesterday, then yes, I am the one." Miller stood up, slinging his rifle over his shoulder, yet lowering his right hand near his sidearm, not reaching for it or even gesturing that he would. "You killed all those night walkers last night." She finally spoke with a slightly nasal voice. Miller turned his attention to her. Her slightly irritating voice made her less attractive to him. "I did." "We are asking for a parley." The male took over the discussion. "A parley?" Miller repeated. "Yeah, a parley." The mole man snickered. "Yous don't knows what a parley is?" "A conference between opposing sides to discuss terms, to negotiate, originating from the French parlor, meaning to speak." "Yes, I understand what parley means. My question is, what do you want to have a parley about?" A bit annoyed and bit more nasal in her voice, she responded, "Use some kind of genius? I don't like smart Alex." "You prefer dumber?" Miller found her response odd. Yeah, we want a parley." The mole man repeated to Miller. "Again, parley about what? What do we have to discuss?" Miller was finding himself getting impatient with the conversation. "Okay, I'll cut to the chase. You're no nonsense. I like that, straight to the point." The mole man replied, "You took out 2 of our top guys yesterday. We had eyes on you last night. So, we know how you held off the night walkers. Do you mind if I ask what you are?" 124 interrupted. "Your box talks." The mole man responded, "I'm Jimmy. I'm a top guy. You never heard of me." Miller changed the subject, and as you were saying, Jimmy. "Yeah, as I was saying." Jimmy turned his attention back to Miller. "We want to make an alliance. You kick ass. Best to be friends than enemies." "Friends?" Miller asked, remembering how their alpha mole man used the same term yesterday before he ordered his group to charge him. "Yeah, we have a common enemy, the night walkers." Jimmy pointed out. "So, as a sign of friendship, we're offering you brandy here." Jimmy put a hand behind the mole female and gave her a soft push towards Miller. "Smile. Show him how friendly you are." He told Brandy, "Yeah, I can be real friendly." She gave a half-cocked smile at Miller. Thank you for the offer. Miller looked at the female. Brandy is very lovely and seems very friendly, but I think she already made it clear she is not interested in me. No. She was kidding. She likes you. She likes you a lot. Don't you, Brandy? Yeah, I like you a lot. Brandy half-heartedly agreed. I will agree with your idea of a truce. We do have a common enemy. Miller looked at Brandy. Thanks, but I am good. No offense, Brandy. None taken, your loss. She turned to Jimmy. Can we go back now?